Traveling to different cities, experiencing new cultures, meeting new people sounds very fun and exciting. However, sometimes the experience might unexpectedly become unpleasant. Today, we're talking about some of the most shocking stories we've heard from tourists while traveling. Camel has a bad day. If you've ever traveled to Egypt or wanted to travel to the country, you probably know that watching the sunset from Mount Sinai is on every tourist bucket list. The tourist who features in this story definitely wanted to go to the top of the 2,285-meter mountain to watch the sunset. As part of the experience, many tourists ride a camel to the top. You obviously can't ride a camel all the way to the top, but most of the journey is through camel ride while the remaining hike is done on foot. The journey on camelback went pretty smoothly for our tourist friend, however, things took an unexpected turn during the latter half. As our tourists dismounted their camel, multiple other camels were sitting lined along the narrow pathway, all except one camel. As our tourist walked past the camel, it let out a loud roar, bringing its face only centimeters away from the tourist's face. Frightened by the camel's sudden reaction, the tourist fell to the ground screaming. Two camel guides immediately came to the aid of the tourist, trying to calm the camel down. However, the angry camel was in no mood to calm down. Instead, it grew angrier. Even the camel guides gave up on the angry camel and climbed up the nearest wall. They also yelled at the tourist to climb up the wall as well. In the end, it took around 15 to 20 minutes for the camel to calm down on its own. Seems that the heat of the desert got to the camel and it was having a bad day. Locked in a park. We've all heard stories about the beauty of Alhambra. One can only imagine how the fortress and its surrounding forests would look. Unfortunately for the tourist couple featured in our story, they missed the opening hours for the fortress as they arrived late into the city. Making the most of the time they had, the couple decided to walk around the city. Their walk around the city brought them to a nice looking park. The greenery and the animals roaming around created a beautiful sight. At dusk, as the couple made their way around the park, they noticed the lack of people around them. Even the animals around them didn't seem as cute as they initially did. As the couple made their way back to the gates, they realized that the gates were locked. To make matters even worse, they discovered the whole park was surrounded by a brick wall. Scared in the dark, the couple wandered around the park and fortunately stumbled across a group of Spanish students who were just as scared as they were. The group was eventually able to find a spot on the wall that was easier to climb over. For those planning to visit Spain anytime soon, it's best to make note that the Carmen de los Martires garden closes at 8 p.m. in the summer. In the event that you end up sharing the fate of our tourist couple, it'd be reassuring to know that the only animals in the park are peacocks and ducks. As long as you don't bother them, they'll leave you in peace. Bed bugs. Regardless of whether you're traveling or not, bed bugs are scary. In fact, we would argue that they seem scarier in new or unfamiliar places. The tourist of this story has made an exciting journey to Koh Tao in Thailand and was eager to have some fun under the sun at the gorgeous beach. However, their excitement came to an end, and what they would have been a pleasant trip turned into an awful memory that they wanted to forget. To travel to Bangkok to Koh Tao, they have to take a long journey by bus and then another journey by boat. Exhausted by the journey, our tourists went straight to bed at their hotel. They woke up a few hours later to an itchy red rash on their back. Thinking of it as a minor allergic reaction due to sensitive skin, the tourists didn't worry too much about it. However, the rash looked a lot worse, angrier and itchier. The tourists immediately went to the pharmacy to get something for their rash. When they showed the rash to the pharmacist, they immediately identified the rash as a result of bed bugs. The tourists put all their clothes in the laundry and immediately put everything on the terrace. When they brought the matter up with the hotel manager, they discovered that bugs were most likely from the local Songserm ferry, as it's common knowledge among the locals that the ferry is an infested bug nest. This unfortunately means you can't really avoid these bugs. The only way around the situation is to thoroughly clean all your belongings and your clothes after your journey on the ferry. Sadly for our tourists, they had to spend the majority of their trip in their hotel or under the shade of their rash got worse each day as their skin reacted sensitively to the bug bites. Pickpocket in Peru. As a person in a foreign place becoming a victim of pickpockets may be every tourist's worst nightmare. The nightmare became a reality for a tourist couple in Lima, Peru, who just wanted to spend their day watching the Circuito Mágico de Agua, magical water fountains in the Parque de la Reserva. On their way to the fountain, the couple took the bus. As buses are a popular form of transportation, it comes as no surprise that it all jam-packed with people. After they boarded the bus, the couple was pushed hard, and only a few minutes later, the husband realized that his phone was missing. As the couple inquired about the phone from the people on the bus, a man asked them about the color of the phone. He later explained that he had seen the middle-aged lady behind the couple put a phone of the same color in her bag. When questioned regarding the matter, the lady got offended and got off at the next stop. The couple followed the lady, insisting she at least show the contents of her bag. As the discussion became more heated, it caught the attention of some of the locals, who suggested that the police be called to sort the matter. When the lady saw the police officer approaching them, she took the phone, which she was hiding in her underwear, and pressed it into the hand of the husband before walking away. While the couple was unable to press charges, they were able to get the phone back. Plus, they were fortunate enough to be fluent in Spanish and were able to work their way around the situation. They acted quickly and immediately addressed the suspect. It also helped that some of the locals came to their assistance. A cruise trip gone wrong. What could have been the best 30-day South American cruise trip turned into a horrible experience. The tourist family had planned the trip a year and a half in advance, making sure to take care of all the details of their journey. As the journey started in December, the youngest member of the family was unable to join the cruise for the first leg. However, they had already planned to get her to join the cruise from Santiago, Chile. The cruise line had ensured the family that the 17-year-old would be able to join the cruise by taking a shuttle from the port. Usually in situations like this, it's best to take the flight a day early in case of any flight delays. Unfortunately, the cruise line booked the flight for the morning she was scheduled to be shuttled onto the ship. With a 4-hour flight delay, the 17-year-old missed her connection to Santiago. The cruise line was able to arrange for another flight and still guaranteed the shuttle. However, things only got worse. Upon arrival, she located the shuttle service soon enough, but they couldn't find her name on their list. You think that's the worst of it, right? Wrong. Everything else you could possibly imagine going wrong happened. With the cruise leaving 3 hours, the young girl was in tears. To make matters worse, her phone had died during the flight. She had only $100 cash with her and did not know how to speak the local language. The 17-year-old found a local taxi that was willing to help her. However, midway through her journey, the taxi broke down. To top it all off, her phone also got stolen. The tourist family eventually found the young girl in the stateroom, clearly distraught emotionally. This was probably the last way they expected their dream vacation to start. The takeaway from this incident is to make sure you always keep your documents on you, especially for international traveling. Also, keep a power bank and always keep extra cash for emergencies like this. All these stories might make traveling seem like a scary thing, but it's not always this horrible. These are only small incidences. You never know, you might end up having the time of your life. Do you have any shocking stories to share with us about your travels? Let us know in the comments below.